Hi, we are here for the first Food Service Circle webinar. I'm here with my colleague and partner in crime, John Bennett, who has had the pleasure of spending 14 years here in BaxterStorey with me. And we thought today it would be good to talk on perhaps a slightly more positive sense around COVID recovery rather than what's happened over the last 5 months. Thanks for joining, John. John, how, in your view, will our sector recover from the current circumstances?
Yeah, I think it's obviously been really difficult these last 5 months now. It seems unbelievable. We're both in our office today at work, and I think we all need to start getting back to offices. I think it's one of the key things here. And even here, over the last couple of weeks, we've gone from a couple of people being in to sort of 20 odd people being in now, and you can feel each day more people feel more comfortable being in what is a safe environment. What we're seeing with our clients is a sort of mixed economy. So those companies that produce things are back. We've served Amazon throughout this whole period, and Amazon have been full on. We've had to hire people. Amazon themselves have actually paid additional pay to the staff because it's been so busy. But we've got other sectors which are slow to return. I do see all these sectors coming back in their own way, but I feel it's going to be maybe a more elongated process than we originally thought. So I think we all hope September would be the turning point. I think it's going to be September through to December, but I genuinely believe we'll have pretty full offices by the end of this year. And I think that's hopefully reinforced by the fact Germany, France, Belgium, and other countries in Europe are there now. I think France has got almost 70% of their people back in offices. So I do think there's real hope there.
John, do you see any difference between regional and some of the city centres? I mean, London still is a dead zone just now.
Yeah. Looking at our numbers now, interesting, just going through some work yesterday, in Northern Ireland, we've got 62% of our customers back, whereas Scotland's 25%. So definitely regionally it's different. We're seeing the north being much more positive in the numbers returning. I think there's a lot more production, there's a lot more activity there in the economy, whereas in the south, where it's maybe more office-based activity, they're slower to come back and all the more the ability to work from home. But I'm finding already, just with my interactions, seeing people face to face again,
it's fantastic.
It creates some excitement back, some energy back in the place. So it's been brilliant.
Yeah. John, we're not alone in having to make some fairly devastating decisions on people's career because of what's happened to our business. And I know the sector has spoken to the other leaders, business leaders, they've had the same challenges. What would your message be to people out there who've been supportive of our sector but unfortunately have lost their jobs? What would you be saying to them to give them some form of hope, perhaps?
Yeah, I think one thing that's been really positive out of all this, if you can take some positive away, is one, I believe as an industry, we've come together in a way we've never done before. So UK hospitality has been a real voice for this, our part of the economy. I've never heard 3.2 million people being mentioned more often than you have over the last sort of few months. I think the government's actions on Eat Out to Help Out has demonstrated their understanding that this part of the economy is so important. I think the Eat Out to Help Out has been fantastic from the point of view. It's already demonstrated there's a pent-up demand for hospitality. We're seeing sort of reports in the wider media of numbers, people beating year-on-year records for this sort of month. So people want to go out, they want to spend money, they want to do things. We're seeing ourselves. We had about 160,000 customers using Eat Out to help out in our business in the first couple of days of the actual scheme. So there's definitely pent-up demand. People want to do it. So there's a hospitality is there to stay, but we're going to have a hiccup on the way at the moment. So I think we've got to get through this hiccup. Hopefully the government will look again at how furlough supports different parts of the industry. I listened to a report this morning where there's clearly conversations going on, and other countries have done that. I know France and Ireland both have done something for certain parts of sectors to recognise they will come back, and we can't lose the fantastic skill sets we've got with those people in such a short period of time.
Fantastic. So you still think there's a future for our sector despite this massive bump in the road?
Absolutely. And I think if anything, it's better now. We've been meeting very regularly, but we meet every week now with all the food service companies via social media. And I think we've looked as a sector to find solutions rather than trying to sort of compete. The competition's been how do we get the sector back? And I know guys on those calls are also meeting with the wider hospitality industry, and again, they're talking about sector solutions. There's been a direct line into government during this, and again, that's never happened for our sector before. We've always been a Cinderella industry that people haven't recognised, but it's a huge employer. It's incredibly important, and it's shown that people want it to use it because of the volumes that have gone back as soon as it's been allowed to reopen. But it's got to open safely and got to prove its ability to be a sustainable solution in this very difficult environment. With COVID is still there, but we've got to learn to live with it until a longer term solution, be it a vaccine or something else, comes up at some time in the future.
And final question, I'm going to change my final question actually, if I can. Do you think that the role of the restaurant, the coffee bar, whatever it is within a client site, do you think that'll become more important as we move forward?
I think absolutely, Noel. I think, again, during these 5 months, we've had lots of calls and lots of discussion about where we're going and how the business is going. But I think one of the things that seems to be coming through is, though the working from home solution has its place, and maybe more so in the future, but the need to actually meet people is even more important when you're working from home, and therefore meeting people in social environments helps create the buzz and the energy that companies need to sort of thrive and survive. So I think it will become a more important social hub, and probably a hub that's used more often, more of the day. So it won't be there for lunchtime service, it will be more of a sort of flexible working space, I think. And that's what we're seeing in some of the environments that have gone back, that they are using the space much more productively and not wanting to go back to their offices because they want to be with people. They're coming in to be with people. We're built on being social, and therefore, social animals. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think that's proven that working from home has only got an element of sustainability. It isn't about the future and development and opportunity. And opportunity comes from people meeting again.
And my very final question.
It's only 3.
Is a pink shirt a requirement in BaxterStorey?
Well, we've set the new rules, didn't we? As part of our sort of social distancing, we said pink was the only colour we're allowed to wear now.
Thank you very much for joining us.